Alright, welcome folks, ladies, gentlemen, weebs, and normies alike. I'm your lovable host Veal, and on this video I'll be going over the best settings for smooth gameplay for people with low-end PCs, aka y'all broke people, aka me. So for all of you who weren't born with a silver spoon, don't worry, I got your back. Now, I know that there's at least one person among you who I preordained who's thinking, can I just, set everything in low and call it done? And to you I say, first of all, fuck you, smartass. And second of all, sure, let's entertain your notion right there. So I preordained your sad ideal there, and therefore I'll be proving to you that you are wrong. Now, this is smooth, right? This movement is smooth. This attack is smooth. Sure, but just look at this depressing world of doom and gloom. I'm here to make sure you can still play the game normally with decent graphics. Now tell me, you who's wearing the glasses and laughing maniacally at me, you call this good gameplay? You call this good quality gameplay and graphics? If so, then I'm sure your standards are as low as your girlfriend's if she's dating you, huh? Alright, back on topic. So let's start off from the top of the settings list. Frames per second. Now for your FPS, otherwise known as frames per second, or your frame rate, I recommend it to be set to 60 frames per second. Now, what is frame rate and why does it matter? Frame rate, put simply, is how many still images or frames that move for each motion. For example, frames are moving right now when I'm walking, when I'm jumping, when I'm running, when I'm attacking. All these movements are frames moving too, are still images that are moving. The higher your frame rate, the more still images move with each motion. Now I know you're all wondering, can my junky scrap top handle the highest available frame rate? And to that I answer, surprisingly yes, it can, because we're gonna make adjustments so that it can. 60 FPS is an absolute must for smooth gameplay. Moving on, we have VSync. Now, VSync or vertical sync should be set on. The reason being is that, essentially, this is the setting that keeps frame rate steady for 3D games with heavy graphics, and also prevents something called screen tearing, which you can guess by the name is something bad, and which is something I won't even bother explaining, so don't even expect it. Next, we have render resolution. To keep this brief, so you won't die of boredom, render resolution is basically the image quality, which determines how blurry or how sharp an image looks. Now, for scrap tops like mine, and for all of you who also own scrap tops, I won't blame you for pessimistically choosing the lowest option. Broke people PC's optimal render resolution is usually 0.6 to 1.0. It usually stays in this territory. So hovering in this territory for choosing render resolution should be fine. Now, for these shadow quality, visual effects, SFX quality, environment detail, which is right over here, volumetric fog, reflections, and crowd density. Oh, how do I even explain this? Oh, I know. These names are self-explanatory in and of itself, so I don't think I should be explaining these. These names are self-explanatory except for subsurface scattering, which is the graphical algorithm that handles the lighting effects of the game. It is not even a question whether scrap tops like ours can handle these settings. The answer is going to be a hard no. Now, although you can keep bloom on to make up for all of these lack of better graphics quality. Now, bloom is essentially what makes the game look beautiful, not that freaking desolate doom and gloom world. That which makes the sun rise, that which makes everything shine properly, doesn't make it look depressing, doesn't make it look like a 1900s photo shoot or something. That's what bloom does. Now, anti-aliasing. This actually depends on how good you think your device is. If you think your device can handle better graphics, then you can go with TAA, but your performance takes a hit for it, as in your FPS, or how good your game runs. SMAA, which is the other option, which uses the same graphic detection technique as FXAA, which you don't need to bother knowing about since it's not an option here. Doesn't affect your performance much, but also doesn't improve your graphics much either. So, since my scrap top is on the better spectrum of low-end PCs, I'm allowed to do that. Now, co-op teammate effects, which is right over here. I usually prefer to set this to off. Now, co-op teammate effects is really up to you whether you want to turn it on or off. You can decide whether you want to see people show off their Ganyus, their Hu-Taos, their Eulas. I personally turn them off to avoid thinking how broke I am after my financial crisis in this freaking game. Oh god, why? Now, I'm sure there are some of you who are still skeptical of these settings that I gave, and that's fine. Now, to prove that I'm a man of my word, I'll show you how smooth Genshin Impact runs during the child boss fight. So let's jump into it, shall we? Now, before we begin, I'd like to tell you that you don't need to focus on the battle at all. This is just a performance test to see how good the battle plays out, so just focus on how good the battle plays out with the settings I provided earlier. And without further ado, and this long-ass loading screen, let's get into it, shall we?
本気を出して俺を楽しませてくれ。投稿も一つの選択だよ。俺は敗者に優しいからね。はっチャンスだ。やりはっやはっ気を読み違えてるね。やりチャンスだ。やはっ気を読み違えてるね。いざ
I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I have. I'm not really sure what I want the rest of the content on this channel to be like. I just picked Genshin Impact as the game to feature for my first video since I have a very deep-rooted love for the game, and I always thought that it'd be a lot of fun to try making content for the game, as other people have been doing. My friend recommended this game to me the day it was released, and I've been playing the game since release on the rainy night of September 27, 2020, which so conveniently was during my school exams, so thanks for that, miHoYo. I definitely want to do more gaming content in the future, assuming I still have one, of course. But I'm still open to suggestions and grateful for any comments you can leave down at the bottom. Thanks for watching.